right.
What's that one?
Yes, all right.
What is this?
There we go. I might wear that, you know.
I say.
I love
That's so true. It's glam up north.
Very nice.
They're brilliant. I love them.
Thank you very
here we
much.
go with your second chance of this week's competition, where you could snatch a simply stunning £15,000. If that doesn't put a spring in your step, I don't know what will. To be in with a shot at grabbing the lot, you need to answer this question correctly. Who currently presents ITV1's All-Star Family Fortunes? Is it A, Vernon Kay, B, Paul Kay, or C, Peter Kay? Call 09012 931 941. Calls cost £1 from BT landlines. Calls from other networks may be higher, and from mobiles will be considerably more. Text A, B, or C to 63303. Text cost £1 plus one standard network rate message. Digital satellite viewers can enter by pressing the red button now. You can also enter for free at itv.com. Entrance must be 18 or over. All lines close at 10 a.m. Saturday the 1st of November. Entries made after this time won't be counted but may still be charged. Best of luck with that. Now, in just a little while, we'll be chatting to Ricky Gervais all about his new movie, Ghost Town, which, without spoiling things too much for everyone, is about a guy who's brought back to life after dying for 7 minutes and then becomes a reluctant go-between, delivering messages from beyond the grave to people who are still alive. But if you could, would you like to receive a message from a loved one who'd passed over?
Oh, I would. Absolutely. I'd love for my dad and my gran to come back and just say thanks to them, you know, for being such a great part of my life and all the people that I've loved and lost. I really hope I want to see them again. And I really hope there is something.
You didn't say that when they were alive.
Well, I did, but look what's happened to me in the last 10 years. You know, I want to say thanks ever so much for all your support in the past, and also, I want them to know what I've done.
But maybe do you not feel that maybe they can see you anyway? Or?
Yeah, which is what I've always believed.
Well, you don't need to tell them then, do you? If you think that if you think they're up there watching what you know, but that's the way that's the way I feel. That's the way I see it. I don't want any messages. The only person I've really cared about who's died is my mum, and there's nothing else to say. I said everything to her when she was alive. I'm sure she did to me. So, you know, that's done. Yeah, I'd love her to see, you know, how well this show's doing. She was like the show's biggest fan when she was alive, and but like you say, if she can see, she can see. All right, Mum. You know, it's like that. You know, I just don't think when people die, they die. They're gone. You know, get over it.
No,
that's
they
life.
don't, though.
No, the point of life is that you die.
Yeah,
That's
you do die and you leave the body behind, but the soul and the spirit goes on to much bigger and better things, Carol.
How do you
and also as well, Carol,
because I don't. I don't.
Carol, you're very lucky that you're a fairly pragmatic sort of person. You know, you're quite black and white.
Based on facts, not fantasy.
But also, you were lucky that, say, you did say everything that you wanted to your mum. What would have happened if say, someone who did die and you desperately wanted to tell them something and you didn't have the chance to? Wouldn't you like the opportunity to be able to have one last go to say something?
Well, maybe, but I don't believe you can. I just don't believe you can talk to dead people, only in films.
Oh, I
you know, that's it. I just don't believe it. And I am very, very, very much open to be proved wrong on this, but I know I never will be. But I am open to that. I'd love to be proved wrong.
I've acted with a few dead people.
I must admit, I was invited quite recently to go and see a medium, and you know, I went along with a fairly open mind, went with a friend of mine, and you know, I went along knowing that it could be fairly generic and all this sort of stuff. Do you know someone whose name begins with a Q? No. Do you know someone whose name begins with an R? No. You know, that sort of thing. It actually didn't turn out to be like that at all. And the person I went to see ended up telling me some really wonderful things about my grandparents. That it meant a lot. I won't go into it now because it's all a bit personal and possibly boring for everyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about. But she told me some things that, when I could tell it back to my mother, made her sob with joy. She was so relieved to hear what my grandmother had to say. It was to do with about the time that she died. She wasn't herself. That it made her feel better. Now, surely, she told me things that no one else could have known, and the fact that I was able to make my mother feel better made me walk away thinking, well, maybe there is something else.
It's a bit selfish, though, again, isn't it? It's a bit like the apology thing. All it's doing, it's a bit like when we mourn, when people die, we mourn selfishly. It's all about us. So if I wish my dad had come in and said, "You are such a stupid girl," you're so stupid, I'd be going, no, I don't want to hear that, thank you. I want to hear you telling me how wonderful I am, Dad.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's an element of that, but on the other hand, I think I'm more veering towards Jane, because I do know that if you meet real people who are psychic, they feel they have to say something to you. And somebody did say to me quite recently, oh, you've got an angel. You've got an angel standing behind you, and it was actually a girl that had died of a brain hemorrhage. But so many things have happened to me that could have been so much worse, I think, had I not had people looking after me, kind of thing. But whether I'd want to actually
physically
talk to
see
them, I don't know. Yeah.
It's a little bit scary, but also quite comforting, maybe, at the same time. OK, time for one final break, but don't go away, because when we get back, Ricky Gervais will be joining us. In the meantime, take a look at who'll be here for our howler of a Halloween show tomorrow. Welcome back to the last little bit of Loose Women for today. Now, as the Office's David Brent, our final guest reinforced the notion that you don't have to be mad here, but it helps. In Extras, he brought a bit of who's who of Hollywood to our screens, with the likes of Robert De Niro and Kate Winslet lifting the lid on what goes on behind the scenes. It was only a matter of time before Hollywood came knocking in for real, and in his critically acclaimed new film, Ghost Town, you can see why they did. Please welcome Ricky Gervais. Welcome to the show. It's your first time on the show.
It is.
Isn't
It's
it?
a pleasure to be here.
Well,
You don't look very happy.
No, because about 9 people said to me, don't swear, don't swear. I thought, who do you think I am, Joan Rivers? I don't need to swear. I never swore in front of my mum. I never, as long as she lived, I never swore in front of her, no.
nor did I.
I didn't want to get beaten up.
So how much fun was it to make Ghost Town?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was, I'd been offered, like, films ever since The Office went out, but I turned them down, not because they were all bad, and some of them were bad, but because I wasn't looking, really. I was busy. And then I read this, and it was the best script I'd read in 5 years. I was laughing immediately. It was so me. It was just, it's just what I do.
Grumpy old Englishman.
Exactly, yeah, a misanthropic grump, and it was great. But that's what's funny about him, because we'd all like to say what's on our mind. Well, you do. But, but you know, he learns a lesson, which is great, because redemption's one of my favourite themes, and it was so beautiful. It was filming this time of year. It was over Halloween and Thanksgiving, and it was in the Upper East Side, and that was great.